into why she's being bullied, and because I have disabilities, so I wasn't coming from a ill place. And then lastly, with her dad, I was just asking. I don't know that lady daddy ain't in that girl. That her daddy is not in her life. How the hell am I supposed to know? That's the first time I met her. You could have put $5 on pump two. Stop addressing me.
Hey, so about the bullying thing, y'all know legally y'all can sue the parents when they kids out there touching on your kids, and the police and things won't do nothing about it, the school won't do nothing about it. You can sue the parents. So I learned that. But my daughter, she was in school and she was being bullied, and then she became a bully because of her training. And I took her out of school. That's one of the reasons I homeschool her, because I ain't got time to be going messing with them folks. Her daddy mental messed up in the head. So I took my daughter out of school, but you can go and sue their parents. That's it.
Yeah, but how do you track? But the thing is, how are you going to track as a parent the online, the cyberbullying part, that to identify who's which child? You know what I'm saying?
At that
Y'all wasn't listening to Omar when Omar was talking. Y'all wasn't listening when he was talking about that, but I'm gonna shut up.
I heard Amar very well, and I'm going to say this, Jay.
Let me say something about
I
that,
did
though.
look for the other parents. They won't give you that information. That's breaking their guidelines. Where are you going to get the information from the other parents to sue them? I know that for a fact. I've been there, done that.
As far as the online thing, at that point right there, like honestly, your kids only supposed to have an hour of screen time a day anyway, if they have fucking devices. You know what I'm saying? At that point, get your kid offline. Online ain't that important. Some of our grown asses need to put this damn thing down and get our asses offline, as you've heard from the conversation this morning. You know what I'm saying? Just to be honest about it. So at that point, your kid don't need online. If your kid has extracurricular activities, volleyball, basketball, karate, whatever it is, cheerleading, they have other things to do than be online arguing with some more little badass kids. Get the damn tablets out their hands, send their ass outside and ride bikes like we did, nigga. I had big wheels. I had a Knight Rider big wheel with the hook slide on the motherfucker. I had scooters, all kind of shit. I'm just being real. Like, you gotta, it's different things. It's different things you got to do when you parenting. We can't sit up here and make excuses. But like on TV is telling the truth though. Like, that's what you got to understand. When you lose in the fight and throw the towel in, because what on TV was saying is the truth, because the little boy was still trying to bully my son. So it got to a point to where we finally got him in order. Then a little girl came in and my son was like, Dad, the girl knocked my food down off the table. So I got pissed off. Y'all know me. I went hood with this shit. I said, you know what? I said, look, son. He said, you know I don't fight girls. I said, this is what you do, son. I said, tomorrow when she's eating her food, let her take 3 scoops when she think it's real good and knock that shit out of her hand and say, you don't need that. And I said, then you run from her. I said, but any nigga that come up, you put hands on him, you box, you put their ass down. I said, you don't stop till they on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Because because the little boy has sent her to do the shit. Because all this, like on TV said, like James said, I gotta agree. I got to a point to where at the end of the semester, I took my son out and I homeschooled him and I put him in a different school. And when he didn't have that problem, at private school. He didn't have that problem when he was in daycare and shit. I put him at a charter school because I started cutting back on my finances, like, you know what I mean, on my budget. I started budgeting. I put him at a charter school. The charter school let him get away with more shit than the private school and the public school ever would. That's just being real. And he's at another school this year. And we haven't had any problems. They just started school. This is week 2 of school. We haven't had any issues with it. You know what I'm saying? And you got to really look at it. When you have black children, there are steps you got to take. And like on TV said, I'm going to be real with you. I had to agree with on TV. I had to take back everything I said, because sometimes you do got to fuck these other kids up. I was trying to stop y'all from getting y'all kids in trouble.
Exactly. I'll take my apologies in the Lions. Thank you. Go ahead, Omar.
Well, since y'all parents and everything, I got a question. James, I'm asking you the question too. James, let me ask you too. I'm asking all the parents.
They called me to school for my daughter, right? This big ass boy was trying
I'm gonna let you slide, Frederick Douglass. I'm gonna let you slide.
All this was out of there. And I had to go explain. And the other parent didn't even show up for school. I'm like, man, what the hell? It's like when you're trying to get these other parents to complicate, you end up getting into it with the parents because they act just as immature as the kid. So it's like, damn, now I gotta go through this shit. That's why I say sue their ass and they gonna shut the fuck
Well,
down.
that's where they getting it from. They getting it from home, and like on TV made some real points. Like they not listened to. They taking it out from their other siblings. It don't even the parents trying to figure out where it's coming from. It's them and the other sibling, or it could be them. You know what I mean? What's happening to them at school?
And
Because
sometimes it's not always the other parent. Hold up. Let me cam up as I say this right here. Let me put my spliff down so I can cam up. Because TikTok is sensitive about the spliffs. So I got to push it over there so I don't forget not to pick it up. Now, I want to say this. I forgot this part in the bullying. In the 26 months that my grandson was being brutally bullied, one day I was standing outside at my car at the street, right? The end of the school day, and they were getting ready to come home. I was expecting him to walk around the corner because we just lived really across the street from the school. So I noticed my grandson was coming down the street, but I also noticed a car was following my grandson slowly. My grandson was looking at me, and he was walking. So this car that was following my grandson, he was 12 years old in the 6th grade.
Hold on, Miss V. Man, James, why you over here?
Oh my God.
Child, Malcolm X versus Al Sharpton.
I'm on the floor. Please don't pick me up.
So the people got out of the car. They came over there to me. My grandson was on the right side of me. A woman, her husband, and her 2 children were standing there. One of the little boys that was standing there was my grandson's bully. So the parents followed my grandson home because they had been asking the school several times to have a mediation with me, and the school would not do that. So I didn't know if I was gonna have to, get my coffee cup out.
Let's go, Arabian.
Cause I'm ready. I'm ready for your ass. However you coming. But they were very humble to me. They was like, "Are you Treasure's grandmother?" And I said, "I am. How can I help you? Who are you? Why are you following my grandson home?" So she said, "Well, my son and your son have been getting into it a lot, and my son is telling me stuff your grandson is saying to him, and your son, and I've reached out to the school several times. I can't get the Board of Education to call me back. I can't get the principal to call me back." Now, this was during COVID now, too. So a lot of the teachers were gone. They were out sick. They had a lot of substitutes. It don't matter. They still had a principal in place, and they had a Nelson Mandela-looking black female, nappy-headed ass female superintendent that never returned my calls. When that lawsuit hit their ass, though, she retired early. It don't matter. It happened when you was in office. Anyway, keep going. So the parents came to me, and they were very nice. And to make sure that they calmed down so I wouldn't have to, use my coffee cup or my car, you know what I did, Diamond? I gave them a whole bag of my detox tea. I said, I tell you what now, because all of y'all look like y'all a little bit obese. The little boy that's been was bullying my grandson, he looked like he was about 400 pounds himself. And he was only in the 6th grade. He was extremely obese. I talk about children.
Bring you up, Marshall. They paid to drop you. I cannot bring you back up.
Look, I gave him a bunch of these right here, the big ones though. I gave him a whole bag. I said, it would be advantageous for you, ma'am. I understand what you're saying, but it's a violation for you to follow my grandson home. And I have mental issues. I would suggest don't do that. However, I do understand your kind gesture. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bless your whole entire family with a bag of my detox teas. My lawyers know all of this. Oh, they on here watching. I can assure you they are one of the 2,000 people on here watching. I bet you the New Haven Board of Education got their little people watching me. Good. I'm glad you watching. That's why I come up here. So you can see me with my eyelashes flopping. Y'all the reason why my eyelashes is flopping. But anyway, I want to say this right here. The families reached out to me. They reached out to me. The school kept trying to say, well, we're going to have a mediation with you and the other parents. We're going to get it together. It never happened in 26 months. It never happened. It never happened. It never happened.
On TV, how are we?
Why you put the damage of them lashes on us?
Not y'all. Not talking about you. I was talking about to the Board of Education. When I said that, I wasn't clear. I wasn't saying it was you. No, it's not you.
On TV,
And I ain't worried about my lashes.
On TV, I done cleaned the whole kitchen, cooked me some grits and sausage, and ate everything. Listen to y'all.
Have you had your eyelids kissed? Why you telling me how you done cleaned and cooked? Have you had your eyelids kissed, Omar?
I guess. I don't know shit.
You don't know?
Arabian.
Blame on your woman. Omar, do you have a woman?
I don't know if she kissed the eyelids. I've been kissed.
You don't know that. Oh my God, tell her to call me. I give classes.
Omar,
Arabian.
I wanted to ask you and James before y'all drop it, even on TV.
Arabian.
Don't ask me shit. On TV has answered all of our questions.
That's what Marshall needs. I swear to God, Marshall needs somebody to smack with some big soup cooling lip gloss on them doggone lips.
Alex,
and just kiss his eyelids. I bet you he'll come down about 1,000 degrees.
Alex, all you got to do is give me and James some detox tea. We gonna be all right.
Y'all saying right.
It'll definitely clean your nuts up.
I was gonna ask, since that person sent that cash app stating that I was wrong for asking about disabilities. Am I wrong for saying a lot of us, our community, don't go get our kids checked out with disabilities?
None of us do it.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong for that.
When I say none, maybe 10 out of 100. That's still
the first thing
none.
you hear somebody say is, you ain't gonna label my baby. Whole time that baby be autistic. Like, it's not putting a bad label on them. It's getting your child help.
Well, my grandson had an IEP when this stuff happened, which puts you in another whole category of being protected. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? We always want to be the hero, not me. I know when a person got issues. I went on down there, look, wait a minute, what's going on with him now? Put it on paper for me. So the reason that we got this big ass lawsuit on their asses, cause you touched a child that was legally protected. He has an IEP. You don't know what that is? Google it when you're Googling why my eyelashes is flopping.
Miss V is right, because I'm one of them childs. Remember when I told you I was a test?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, James. I'm sorry.
I was a test dummy when I was little. My fault, y'all. I was a test dummy. So she is right. I'm one of them, whatever she just...
Don't say that.
Okay, so let me say this though. This is another way to look at it too. You also have to look at the school to prison pipeline. You also have to look at the schools, and you have to pay attention to who's giving you this advice. I've seen them diagnose entire classes with ADHD. Some children are IEPs, and there's nothing wrong with them. Black babies develop way faster than a lot of other people develop, right? So sometimes you have to look at your child. Some of your children are gifted.
And black people we're the community that run down there when they say give your child 1,000% of poison immunizations before they're 6 months old. It was no such thing as none of these diagnoses before all these immunizations mandatory. You think they're mandatory. You think they're mandatory because you don't know your laws. You don't know your laws. But they weren't mandatory for me because I didn't do that. I didn't take my children down there. That's where autism begins. That's where the freezing of the brains begin, because you let them tell you it's not right to put certain poisons in your kids before they're 3 days old, before they're 6 months old. So it distorts the brain. And the black male is proven. All this is on the internet, baby. I ain't coming up with it. I studied it and learned it.
I know what you're talking about. But
so that's what I'm talking about. So it has nothing to do with, how their diagnosis. These kids really do have the damn diagnosis. A lot of them do. That. But we as black parents, we want to take the position as our children are perfect. Ain't nothing wrong with him. He just need his ass whooped. Ain't nothing wrong with him. And then all at the same time, Your dumb asses is feeding them sugar and sweets and carbs all day long. Then you want to beat their ass because they jumping around when you giving them something that's stronger than the white powder. Sugar.
But let me say this.
Sugar is the most addictive and most dangerous substance on the face of the earth. So here's the bottom line, black families who don't know this. You are drug dealers. You are serving your children poison all day, every day. Then you want to give them a medicine to control their activity. Half your food got poison in it. You giving them anything with that red dye in it, that orange dye in it, they're off the chain. Study it. Then you want to beat them up and take them and give them tramadol or whatever it is they give the kids to calm them down. Then they're sitting there like zombies in school. Then you want to beat them because the teacher sent a note home and say, oh, your child was non-responsive today. Yeah, because you got them drugged up. Now.
I have a child that's autistic. I have 4 kids with my husband. My last child is the only one that's been diagnosed with autism. They've all had the same vaccinations, the same doctors. Everything has been the same. I'm not disagreeing about the vaccines, but I honestly think it also has to do with the DNA. Because my husband has a cousin that is severely autistic. My husband has a nephew that's autistic.
Absolutely.
So I honestly think it's in the DNA and the vaccinations put together.
If the daddies is retarded that you having babies by, and your daughters got special needs, why do you expect your children, grandchildren to be scholars? Oh, I done already covered all that. DNA has a lot to do with it.
My husband is not autistic. There's nothing wrong with my husband. His family has issues.
I said DNA. It could be his mama. It could be his auntie. It goes way back, baby. Them generational specks of DNA in your children, you may look at your child and see Auntie Ruth in them. Auntie Ruth ain't been around in 50 years, but she right there in your child. I'm telling you, baby, I've been on this earth for 6 decades and 2 years. And when I tell you, when I was a little girl, the kids were not acting out like they act out in the 60s and the 70s. These kids were not diagnosed. We didn't have retarded classes where 50% of the kids are going to the retarded classes for half of the day. We didn't have kids taking Adderall in the middle of the day after lunch. And those kids were not coming to school taking fighting each other and pew-pewing each other. We didn't have to have security in the schools. I know what I'm talking about, baby. I'm not arguing with what you're saying. What I am saying is that the results is in the history. Y'all want to talk about us being old. I'm very, very happy at the fact that I can say that I experienced the years in the 60s and the 70s. In the 70s in school, and I know the difference. And the food is poison too.
The food is poison. I agree.
Half of y'all ain't cooking. Half of you ain't cooking for your kids. You're running through Popeyes and Church's Chicken with the pepper and get some McDonald's. You feed them GMO.
Auntie
Then
B.
you're giving them, let's talk about this. Then you're giving them melatonin to go to sleep at night.
Auntie B, can I say this though?
Then you're giving them, hold up, baby. Let me say that again, Alex. I got you, boo-boo. You know I got you. If I ain't got nobody, I got you. I got James. Now I got Omar. Domino always got her. Now, some of y'all love, I got to learn y'all. I still love y'all, though. But listen to me. Let me say this right here. Then you're giving them melatonin. Some of y'all went on TikTok Shop and bought the whole case of melatonin because you know the school was finna start. But you didn't change your diet. You didn't start cooking. You ain't playing no meals. But you want your kids to go to school and act normal when you ain't normal. Now, challenge that while you're talking about my lashes.
What I was going to say was, my finishing thought was this. This is what I was saying. On TV, I like this conversation. Y'all can't try to hush on TV when she's being real, for real. That's all I can say. TikTok love to tie the tone for these people. But what I was saying about the whole diagnosis thing, that is the school to prison pipeline is very real. And what happens is they diagnose a lot of black children before they're even developed. There's no way in fucking hell you're going to give my 4-year-old a IEP and his brain hasn't been developed by the time he's 5. And what happens with the school is I always tell the ladies, I don't care if it's your uncle, your brother, if you're a single mom, because what happened with me was I was working a lot. I wasn't going up to the school. So they try to treat all women, it don't matter the race, like they're a baby mama. And they try to push these different programs and different things on a lot of women. So you got to always make sure you have a male presence there, and don't just take everything those people are saying for granted because they don't always have your best interest at heart. Hold on. They don't always have your best interests at heart, and a lot of time it's about that money. And the school to prison pipeline is real. And what on TV is saying is true, and what this lady is saying is true, because all of our chemical makeups are totally different. You can eat a fucking tomato and pass away tomorrow because it don't agree with the chemicals in your body. So the DNA thing is also true too. That's why I tell y'all, take y'all ass to the family reunion, meet the family, meet the auntie who done stole money from everybody when Nana passed away, meet the uncle who ain't about shit, who sit in the chair all day, and that the whole family enable. You have to learn people, bro, for real. You gotta, and I mean, some people were brought up in a foster system, so they don't know their history. You know what I mean? So it's a catch-22. It's a double-edged sword. But try to know as much as you can because this shit matters when you having children, and we don't look at that. We look at
just because you get the diagnosis. Let me interject this real quick. Just because you get a diagnosis, you don't have to do what they said do to resolve the diagnosis. Like I didn't cut my titties off when I had breast cancer when they told me to.
I don't see that's the thing.
While you're marking my detox tea, that's what I was drinking when I had it, and that's why I still got my pretty ass titties.
But Miss V, with all due respect, that's where I'm a little conflicted with this conversation. What you want,
yes, baby.
Because I was diagnosed with ADHD years ago. My mother got me evaluated. I mean, and I'm not ashamed of none of my disabilities. My thing is this: I feel like sometimes we say no medication, but sometimes folks need it because it makes them better. I'm not on
no medication.
Yeah, I'm not on any medication right now, but I do feel like if I was still taking Vyvanse or I was still taking Adderall, I might be a little more progressive and stuff that I did. But I didn't like the way it would make me feel when I was taking it. Like,
I'm never inducing the fact that you shouldn't take medication. I just took a couple of pills myself.
Yeah.
I got a few prescriptions myself. So this is not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, that 80% of my recovery is because I took control of my diet and my well-being. I took control of what I ingest in my body, because that is why we're sick. However you want to call it, the DNA, you inherited it from this person, the DNA, that's part of it. Yes, it is. Because, baby, I be looking at some of my grandkids saying they ain't got none of that. I don't know where y'all came from.
So
it's true. It's true.
Damn, where y'all come from? Because y'all ain't nothing like me.
Yeah. And
you're right about the food. The foods have all these chemicals, all these dyes. You are 100% right. Also with the ADHD, I have a bonus son. If he was diagnosed when he was younger, I don't agree with giving kids medication at all. And my daughter was severely autistic. She's gotten a lot of therapy. She's now mild to moderate autistic. But if my bonus son would have been diagnosed when he was younger, he would have been on medication when he got older as an adult and been able to deal with his surrounding circumstances. And he was killed by the Chicago police because he could not function. He couldn't think. He couldn't think right at that moment. His mind was everywhere. If he was on the medication he should have been on, he would have been able to think and not have been killed by the Chicago police.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I have several grandchildren with different disabilities and diagnoses, and I taught my daughters how to, and I taught and myself right here at home. I don't have the certain things in my house that will cause these diagnoses to be elevated. We don't do the heavy doses of sugar. We don't eat no red meat over up in here. Oh, I just love the way it tastes. Well, let me tell you something. Taste of devastation and death don't taste too good. So I have learned how to restrain myself from certain things that because I like the way it tastes on my tongue, it devastated my body. So at the end of the day, it goes back to your self-control. And I do agree. You better get a bunch of that medicine if you're not willing to change your diet. But the medicine ain't kept nobody from being saved because they still act out. They act out worse when they have the RN that does the Sunday thing and she talks about the health. They were talking about mental health the other day. And the young lady was up there saying, she said, well, you know, the medicine does help you, but you still have outbursts. There's going to come a time that, you know, even under medicine, you know, you still every 90 days or so, you may still have an outburst of mania. I know, not for myself because I dealt with it. And I want to say that, you know, I'm not ever going to get up here and say don't take no medications. But what I am going to say is this right here. Take control of your body, which is the temple, and stop using it as a trash can. And then when a black sister come up here and give you her testimony about why my eyelashes is flopping and why I have to paint my eyebrows on, Mom, and why my hair may flip off because this doesn't come out of the little bitty soft hair from going through chemo, and why my butt now looks like it's in the front and my front is not in the back anymore like it was before I had cancer. When I come up here and start telling you that now I offer a detox tea, here you go. Oh, but it doesn't have labels on it. You're so retarded. So I don't care nothing about what you're talking about. You so prestigious and so quick to critique a person that's got proof and evidence. But then you want to critique, oh, she doesn't even have labels on that. I would never do it. Well, let me tell you something. When your medicines that you got, when your diagnosis that you get from the doctors, they're all labeled with the bars on it. And let me tell you what it's saying. I got your ass. Now, with that being said, blessings to you. Do what you want to do.
You was going to say something?
But I drunk me a whole 22 ounces of this last night. 22 ounces. I put all the metals that I injected yesterday from just walking outside up under the airplanes. Everything is in the toilet. Some of y'all gonna hold on to y'all's to Thanksgiving. Then first of the year, you gonna come up there talking about, I'm on detox. It's January 1st. Do you? I don't care what you do, because the proof is in the pudding. This is why my body has been reserved at 62. It ain't got nothing to do with no genes, because my mama died at 57. I mean 69. My grandmama died at 57.
Hold on,
So it ain't got nothing to do with the genes on that. It got something to do with the fact that I don't eat like they eat.
Hold on, TV. Diamond was finna say something.
So y'all, this is not my topic this morning, y'all. Would y'all like to move forward to the topic, or would y'all like to discuss this?
The topic, but I think RV Clay doesn't know she up here.
Hey, can I respond to something that lady was saying about the Chicago police? So I am also a victim of Chicago police brutality. I got the paperwork in the room. It's my psychological paperwork to where, you know what I'm saying, they also tried to unalive me. It's one of the reasons I'm not in Chicago, because they try to unalive me. So it goes deep when mental, well, I don't want to consider myself as a mental patient, but I was a mental test dummy. Something shit my mama did when I was a baby. But it's crazy for us in Chicago. We ain't got no service like that for us. It just hit me when she said that, because I was going through the same thing. Just so happened I'm still alive. So I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Thank you. Thank you. And all he was doing was running away from the police to get away. He had no criminal record. He was not wanted for anything. He's not known for anything. He had his gun license. He was just trying to get away from the situation. He was on his way to a funeral. He was on his way to a funeral. But the area where